Hi there, it's Polly here. Just taking the time to do a last Thai video to do an anecdote for you. Yes, one of my commentators was one of my old pals from Beam Software days, which sent me to thinking. So at Beam Software, we used to very often play role-playing games during the middle of the day. We'd take, like, during the lunch break, we'd do that thing. And there was a magnificent Empire of the Petal Throne campaign that was done. And it was just beautiful. But what I loved particularly about this one was that the setup was all done in the usual way. There was an adventure, which was to be someone was going forth to get the widget and seize the thing and solve the problem. And the whole campaign was being run by John Hayward. If he's out there, hi John. John was he was the project leader on the Lord of the Rings 2 game and so on, a fantastic guy. And he's gone on, he's done one of the big board games for, I think it's Leviathans or something. It's for like floating World War I style dreadnoughts and so on, but in the skies. But yes, so he's running this thing. So the expedition, this is alright, it's going to be, one of the players is a priest of Vimla, who is the fire god. Alright, so officially they're in charge. So this guy's given a purse of monies and said, alright, that's for incidental expenses just to keep everyone going. Right, and that's where the evil genius comes in. This player made contracts and they were astounding. They were thick as like old white page telephone books. They were monstrous. And it's all full of the party of the first part shall be the Temple of Vimla, who shall be called the party of the first part. The party of the second part is the adventurer here undersigned, who recognizes that he is the party of the first part, the party of the second part, yeah, whatever. And it looks like what it's essentially saying is that, look, you'll be covered for any expenses at all, but you need to come up with a set of receipts, and you need a rationalization, and the temple will cover this. All right. Oh yeah, fantastic. Yeah, great. Yeah, the temple will underwrite anything. Weehaw, let's go buy equipment. However, if you read through this immense document, what it's saying is, yes, your expenses, you'll be paid per day, and your food and so on will be covered, but it's only like basic temple acolyte style food. So you'll be allowed, like, a little bowl of porridge for breakfast. You might get a couple of slices of bread for lunch, and you might get another bowl of porridge. Anything beyond that comes out of expenses. Oh, right, yeah, whatever. Okay, it comes out of expenses. Fine, who gives a damn? But when you really read into it, the priest of Vimla is saying that he, of course, as a conduit for the god, his time and money and effort and so on is worth way more than yours. So you are being charged a per diem for having his character there with your party, which he's just taking the money. The temple isn't his, but obviously his guidance is terribly important, so you're being charged that, which comes off the budget. His advice whenever you ask a question and he answers it, you'll be charged. And likewise, all of this stuff that you're doing, you could go out, you get swords, armor, all that sort of stuff. But it's all going against your budget, and that per diem that you're being charged for his services as your mighty leader, he's charging for spells, he's charging you for every time you praise to his god. You could end up in debt, and if you kept reading into this massive document, essentially, if at the end you owe more money than you've been paid, you can be sold into slavery to make up the shortfall. These things are so huge, and everyone's presented with like many copies of this. There was one for the priest of Vimla, one for the player character, one for the priest of Vimla's temple, one for the player character's temple. There was a extra copy which was to go to the palace of martial affairs and so on, another one to the administrative palace for temple affairs, and there was a final copy which was to be burned in the car park in a giant ritual as a sacrifice to the fire god, which we actually did. And it's a wonderful piece of genius, because there's all these sign here, cross this, do this, or there was hundreds of places to sign, or you could just sign the front of the document, which says that echoes out to everything, and you just accept the whole thing. I even just accepted the whole thing. Well, except for me, because I read it. But It was the most wonderful piece of time-wasting bastardry I've ever seen. It was just a magnificent piece of work. John, if you're out there, you're a scholar and a gentleman. He used to run the most amazing games, but that contract, that stays on my mind forever. It was a brilliant piece of work. Anyway, cheers everybody. This is your far foreign correspondent. Kind of signing off. I'm going home tomorrow. Anyway, bye.